A NIMCRUT maybe doubles the after-tax returns of a standard CRUT. We're trying to be conservative here, but there is a significant difference here when it goes well. The next natural question is, well, that sounds great. Why would anyone ever not do this? And the answer is, again, this third bullet point, the but. The but is, not only does the NIMCRUT not have to distribute money if you don't have net income, but it actually can't distribute money if you don't have net income. And so what that means is that if your assets underperform, let's say you started a NIMCRUT in the second half of 2024, and or let's say you started at the beginning of 2025, and then over the course of the year, your investments are flat or even down a little bit or a lot. At the end of the year, you might not actually have any net income that you can realize. If you invested in Apple stock at $100 and at the end of the year it's 90, there's actually no way to create net trust income that's distributable. And that can be a problem if you need or want liquidity in a particular year. Right? If you're sitting in year 7 of your trust and you're ready to take out money, but we hit a bear market, well, you might not be able to take money out that year. And so a NIMCRUT is typically a choice for someone who likes that extra after-tax compounding and the extra returns over the years and isn't so worried about having liquidity at any particular time. Because, and I know we've told a lot of you this over the years in our conversations, a NIMCRUT over the long run typically makes sense on average. The stock market, there's never been a 20-year period where the stock market was down significantly, right? Over the long run, a NIMCRUT's probably going to work out. I'm a lawyer, I'd never say always, but a NIMCRUT's probably going to work out over the long run. But over the short run, over 2 or 5 or even 10 years, you might find that you don't have access to as much liquidity as you want. That's a really important insight and the natural, I think, segue to, well, why might you choose a flip CRUT? But Mani, did you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, and say that hits it on the head is right. Like the two most common use cases for these are standard CRUT is, again, the NIMCRUT. The benefits of CRUTs in general is you get to defer taxes and reinvest that money. So the standard CRUT compared to doing nothing means you get to defer tax dollars. You're pulling a small percentage out every year. You pay taxes on that. A NIMCRUT is to a standard CRUT is what a standard CRUT is to doing nothing. Is you get even more tax deferral because you can control, you can limit distributions, so you can get, and you don't pay taxes till you pull money out of the trust. The NIMCRUT allows you to keep the money pre-tax growing for longer, and the longer your assets go pre-tax, the more wealth it creates. And so that's the big advantage. And now that duality of what Jeff said is you need income to generate distributions. The good news is you can use that to control and limit distributions when you don't need it. But the downside is if you want distributions, you need that income. Now, an important piece is if you have a diversified portfolio over the long run, typically you're going to have some assets that have appreciated and can go up. But let's say if you started the NIMCRUT this year and then, tariffs and there's a stock market route, then this year you may not have the kind of income or appreciation to generate it. So a NIMCRUT, tends to make sense if you don't need the immediate liquidity and want more pre-tax compounding. Standard CRUT means, hey, you want the benefits of tax deferral, but you want a steady income and predictability over, now and in the future.
That's right. And so I think an important question that one might ask, and we hear this a lot, is, well, okay, I really like the idea of that steady payout from a standard CRUT, especially over the long run. Maybe this is a retirement plan for me. I'm going to need this money at some point. I like that steadiness. But I also really like the idea of deferring income, especially in the early years. I think that'll really increase my family's overall earnings. How do I decide between the two? And of course, we'll help you do that. We run the numbers. We can show you exactly what you're compromising and giving up by choosing a standard CRUT. And maybe you decide that that's worth the trade-off for you. But you might also decide that you want to choose the middle path, which is a flip CRUT.
Thank you.